Welcome back to What Matters This Week. Joining us now is Jay Wahl, the new executive director of the Flynn Center for the Performing Arts. Jay, appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I've just moved here and I'm already on TV. Like, how incredible is that?
Nothing better. But like you said earlier, you moved, took a new job, dealing with snowstorms in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, how is this for you right now?
Well, you know, it's brand new. So far so good. The Flynn is such an incredible organization. The people are so warm. They're so committed to the mission, the belief that art really transforms our community for the better, helps us see ourselves, see each other, and what could be better. So if you're going to move for a new job, this is the place to do it. You know, Burlington seemed very welcoming. It rolled out the white carpet, as it was recently, and that was exciting. It's really beautiful. And sure, there's challenges at moving at this time, but I think particularly in the arts, what we've seen in the last year is a lot of new thinking, a lot of new opportunities, a lot of trying to reconceive what does it mean to offer a transformative experience to people? How do we convene people? How are the performing arts telling our stories? And that's the work. It's great, and there's no place like the Flynn.
I know your mind's going and you must have so many plans and so many ideas, but with the Flynn itself in a wait and see period, I guess, how are you focusing your time?
Well, that's a really great question. I've thought a lot about, like, you know, as you take a new job, how you want to get to know people. I want to learn their smiles and their energy, their names, you know, all that good stuff. But really taking time to understand what we do, what we've been doing for many years. The Flynn is coming up on a 90th anniversary. It's been part of the bedrock of this community for a long time. And I'm proud to learn about that legacy and hopefully kind of get a sense of how I can contribute to it. We have some plans coming up. You know, we haven't stopped our education programming. We try to reach kids in a meaningful way, as well as adults who want to connect to the arts. We've still done some digital programming. With virtual, we had a virtual dance performance with Lida Winfield and Crystal Brown this weekend, and that was really beautiful. We're thinking about what else we might do as it gets a little warmer. You know, in the fall, we tried a program called Hurly Burly, where we drove a flatbed truck into parks in the region and held pop-up performances. So we're looking at ways to bring that back. You know, we produced an unbelievable jazz festival each summer, and we're looking at ways that that's going to come back. So I think there's lots to do. There's no shortage of planning as I get to know this region and I get to know the strength and character of the people.
All right, let's stay on the Jazz Fest then. Do we move it all outside? Is it still possible to happen in person in some capacity?
Well, we're working that out. You know, we're trying to figure out, things are changing all the time. We're really optimistic that we'll be able to do components that people love and maybe offer some new ideas. We do want to support our local jazz musicians and the importance of that community here. Of course, Burlington and jazz has a long history with this festival. It's been something like 37 years, and it's something everybody looks forward to. It kicks off this summer. And so we're really working hard with Burlington City Arts to figure out what's the best way to do that. So I think we're all optimistic that there'll be portions that we can do. And I look forward to being able to share details as we have it.
How has this time where all of us have a lot of time to basically think, but how has this time forced you to basically think beyond the box, outside the box?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you. I've been thinking a lot about the Flynn. The Flynn's not just a building. I mean, you know, many people have experiences there, and I think we're all grateful for a place to go where we can gather with our friends and family or take a date. You know, I met a couple who had their first date there, and now they have grandchildren. So I think the Flynn is a place, but it's so much more than that. And it's the way it serves the community, ways it brings us together. So when you think about thinking outside the box, my mind immediately goes to, in what ways are the walls porous? In what ways are the work we do connect to communities, you know, right in the neighborhood and beyond across the whole state? And that's what we're really thinking about. What does it mean to be in service on that kind of geographical reach? How do you still connect with people? And what is it the arts fundamentally do? Like, what are the needs we have? You know, there's an epidemic perhaps of loneliness as people have not been able to see their loved ones for a long time. Can the arts contribute to help healing that? There's perhaps not as much fun as we all like to be having. And of course, the arts often bring smiles. So how are we going to do that? And so I think thinking outside the box isn't so much about doing things differently. It's almost like reconnecting with why we do things in the first place and making sure we articulate how important that is and how much we all miss that. I think there's tremendous potential for that. And I think so many people have welcomed me into the community, expressing all the great memories, all the connections they've made through the Flynn, the work they've seen, the work they remember, the ways in which maybe they're still singing songs with their kids from a show they saw 4 or 5 years ago, and the ways that arts transform our lives that way and track our memory and help us understand each other. So we just got to keep doing that, and that we're going to do that. Whatever the situation is, we want people to be healthy. We want people to feel good. We want people to have opportunities to share in this with us, and we're going to do it.
Is there something about the struggle within the arts community right now that you wish more people understood?
That's a really interesting question. I think that everyone understands that there are economic challenges for many industries, and hopefully people are sensitive to the arts being one of the industries that's been hit hard. When whose whole livelihood are about how do we bring people together, you can imagine at a time of social distancing that that's a challenge, and people have to rethink their relationship to their art form. So in that sense, I wish people understood that. But on the flip side, I wish people understood that one of the ways we understand ourselves and what we're going through is through the voice and ideas of artists, that artists kind of hold up a mirror to ourselves and help us understand what we're feeling. And re-listening to music and re-listening to poetry. I mean, you saw Amanda Gorman at the inauguration really nail, I think, a way we're feeling and the way that poetry does that. And somehow, if nothing else, that on inauguration, the presence of the artistic spirit and the artistic voice really reminded us as Americans what civic responsibility can mean. And so what I wish people understood, and I think many people do, it's just not always top of mind or as articulate as what we try to do, is I just hope people understood that the arts still have a role to play, that it's not something that we get back to once life goes back to normal, as it were. It's exactly how we feel and what we're thinking and what we need.
Jay, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us.
Lauren, thank you for this opportunity. I can't wait to see you at the Flynn. Come say hi. Anyone else watching this, if you see me in the Hannafords, just say hi. You can help me pick out a cantaloupe or something. And I'm so glad to be here.
Will do. We'll see you there this weekend. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.